Hello, and welcome to another session of blockchat. As you know, we started blockchat some time ago because we wanted to share with you on a regular chat everything that we know and we would like to know from others who are experts in certain fields when it regards real estate and blockchain real estate specifically. Why? Because we're fond of that, because we're passionate about that, and because we believe that is part of the future and a very important part of the future. Denis, the CEO of Blocksquare, alongside myself, have put an effort to make sure that blockchat is always intriguing, is always beneficial. And yes, we had our technical ups and downs, and our ups and downs in general. I doubt that somebody who's not professional in presenting, supposedly, do a permanent, consistent, high-level content. Yet, I believe we've succeeded being consistent. We persisted on making sure that we renew the material. And we tried at times to understand more what would help you better, what would help you, what would help our company, Blocksquare, our project, Ocean Point, and what would help our community and beyond. And at the same time, we grow our community. Today's block chat is a special block chat. So it's not a chat, yet it's a chat between me, myself, you, with all the questions that we've received. As well as we will have Denis on a recorded session. It's special because, as you may know, if you're part of our community or you follow us, we have launched staking on Ocean Point. And today we'll explain what is staking. What I will try and do is an overview of why tokenize real estate, how to tokenize real estate, how to stake real estate. We'll run you through a step-by-step. So this session will also be captioned and utilized to assist our pioneers who have tokenized real estate to date, so that they can attempt and conclude easily, smoothly, regardless of their tech knowledge, the staking process. Although I believe most of them have been acquainted to such a process much more than me, for example. At all times, again, we want to hear from you. So if you have questions, and we had some good questions today, please shoot it through. It will add value to us, and it will simply put us at a point where we can answer questions that you want answers to, rather than questions that you don't want answers to. And today, I will start by running you through some questions we've received, and then we'll jump into a demonstration by Denis on the staking process, where I will try and explain further to those who are not tech savvy the process, so that everyone can stake. We're excited for everyone staking and getting the rewards, and we want everyone to do it today, because them attempting the act of tokenization and locking value on DeFi is a pioneering act, is an initiative from them that supports our ecosystem, and we're passionate about getting them the rewards as fast as possible. So I'll start by that. I'll start by answering, as I mentioned, few questions. And then the first question, we picked the most simple one of them. Why even tokenize my property? So why would anyone tokenize their property? And there's a very simple answer for that, and there's others that are pretty complex. I prefer the simple one of that. Today you own a property. That property's ownership is represented by a title deed. That property's ownership can be represented conventionally in multiple ways. One of them is you have the ownership of the property under an LLC rather than you as an individual, and you can issue shares. And there's several classes of shares that you can issue that allow owners or holders of those shares to do different things. However, regardless of that, in a conventional manner also, you have different ways of fractionalizing or distributing the value that property represents to different individuals or entities. Now, in a non-conventional way, you can have those or this value, this economic value behind the property tokenized. And what we mean by that is digitizing the representation of that economic value. In other words, getting that economic value locked in a digital format, utilizing a token and a smart contract where you can own a token or multiples of this token, and those represent a percentage of the economic value in the property. It's simple. Now, until this point of time, we didn't talk about trading tokens, buying tokens, no crypto involved. Yes, there's common denominators between crypto and probably a token, because both sit on the blockchain, which is a distributed ledger technology. However, we didn't talk about anything like that. How can you buy a token? You can buy a token by utilizing fiat or utilizing any other digital currency or unit of measure. Whenever there's anything that you can utilize today to buy a property, a regular property, be it dollars, euros, or ETH, does not matter. You can use the same to buy tokens. So simply by tokenizing, we're not recreating the wheel when it comes to the rights. Yes, it allows you flexibility for you to include or not include pieces of rights here or there. And that's why it's very important that the tokenization process is done in a professional manner. As well as it's very important that the tokenization process is done in a manner that does protect the parties tokenizing as well as the parties buying the token. Who should you be to tokenize? Should the property be under a company or an individual? At Blocksquare, we found the solution to allow anyone, an individual or a company, to lock value through a corporate resolution, and our tokenization process is pretty simple, and give a level of protection for parties, and that level can be grown or reduced as much as needed. You know, everything in life has risks, and you mitigate some of those risks. You either can mitigate risks to a very high level, if you're trying to tokenize 100% of a property, for example, and sell 100% of the tokens, and you can take less procedure probably if you want to tokenize just 1% or a 2% of a property and sell it. Why? Because the level of protection, whenever somebody has a mortgage on a property and tokenizes 1 or 2%, in general, he still has equity that is free equity most of the times. Now, this process is set to mature with time and set to grow with time. At the time being, it's very logical, it's very simple, it's doable, and it's empty of non-calculable risks. And I'm very careful in selecting my words, and I don't like to hype stuff. So I wouldn't tell you it's risk-free. It's fun to tell you that. There's no process in the world today, including buying a property in a conventional way, and I've just finished buying a property half an hour ago, that is risk-free. Any mistake here and there can cause risk. Now, we're pretty diligent. We know what we're doing, and we know how we're doing it. We want to educate you so that you can do the same. When you look at our process, you understand that what people call risk-free is something that we call, it's mitigated risk. It's very calculable, understandable risk, because there's nothing called risk-free. So we're just more careful about using words so that at no time do we overpromise and underdeliver. We underpromise and we overdeliver. That's question number one. I'll not bore you with long answers to questions, but I will answer question number two, and then we'll go to staking process, and we take it forward from there and see where do we get with that. What is BST, and why would I want to earn it? Actually, this question was answered after that by Denis, and I'll say it my own way, but those are Denis's words, which I agree with 100%. And Denis said the following: imagine you could earn Facebook shares by using Facebook's, and imagine you can earn Google shares just by using Google. Now, when using Google, you are presenting value. When allowing Google to use your data, you're presenting value. When Google can target you in a marketing, you're presenting value. Imagine that you can get shares back from that process. And imagine that every company in the world today, including Apple and Tesla, have shares, and those shares represent value of that project, future of that project, and people own those shares to get relevance and benefit from the success of those companies, as well as to grow wealth and returns with time when those companies move from being startups to becoming unicorns and way beyond. Now, similarly, blockchain companies and decentralized organizations do have native tokens that enable people to purchase those tokens to benefit from the future growth and the relevance and the value created with time in that company. Now, Dennis said after that, BST is a governance token that serves as the basis for Blocksquare's ecosystem. So today, the idea of utilizing BST is a governance token. It does have a benefit to people who hold it. They have a voice in the system, similar to an owner of a share has a voice in a company. It's simply decentralizing the part of the decision making. Obviously, it's not all the decision making. It may become all the decision making with time. I remember the session with Akeem in one of the spotlights. Akeem is one of our advisors, is someone who's very inspiring, is the chairman of Fibri as well, the Foundation of International Blockchain and Real Estate Expertise. He told me it's a very fine line between giving control that's positive or leaving control and then everything falls apart. So this is what happens within the ecosystem. And simply, one of the sides, it rewards liquidity providers and governance pool participants on Ocean Point, while on the other side, it awards special terms to partners operating their own marketplaces. So people who are operating their own marketplaces, and I don't see, unfortunately, all what's written without glasses those days. People who are operating their own marketplaces get rewarded, as well as people who are providing liquidity, because it helps us all. With DAO growth, new functionalities will be introduced to further enhance the tokenomics of BST. So many parties ask about the tokenomics of BST, which you can obviously see in our docs. However, there is the value is being grown and the tokenomics are being improved and enhanced with time with the DAO growth. Creating long-term incentives for token holders and members of that DAO, which is every holder of BST. And that's what BST represents today. So when you're buying BST, you're not buying into a coin that may or may not represent a project. You're buying into a governance token. You have a say in what happens within that ecosystem. You have a project online, and you know what that project holds today. It's hours and years now of development, tech development, as well as not only tech development, the methodology and the business logic and the framework development, as well as much more than that, because now we have a working product. Not only do we have a working product, we have a tested working product, but more. We have $36 million of real estate and grown. Actually, it's much more than 36 today. Yet the ones that are tokenized already are 36. There's a pipeline of property, including a hotel, including several very exciting properties coming up, but it will come with the days that come, as well as we started staking. So it's the complete ecosystem is there. So what you do today is, if you have a property, you call us, you contact us, and you have a very simple process to tokenize that property. After you tokenize that property, you can stake those tokens, you can lock the value, and we will show you how in a second. So,
hello everyone, happy to present you Ocean Point with its 36 million worth of real estate assets tokenized in 11 jurisdictions so far. So
11 jurisdictions, 36, actually it's 12, let me correct Dennis, probably, if I'm not mistaken. Probably he will correct me afterwards if I am. $36 million of assets that are tokenized. This is Ocean Point. What Dennis will show you now, and it's sometimes fast. Again, please feel free to pause at any time you need afterwards. And you can hear it multiple times. At the same time, what I will try to do is pause and explain. So here we are on the main screen on the marketplace of Ocean Point. I'll run you through. Here I'll have very fast pauses because I will explain where are you on every one of those screens, and then we take it forward beyond this. Why are we doing it recorded? For a very simple reason. We don't want you to live the buffer and live the waiting for the transaction to conclude. And now you'll see what I mean within seconds.
From the website, you can access the marketplace where you can sign up. In the marketplace, you'll see all of the properties that we've tokenized so far. There's over 40 real estate assets that are listed. And this is like a really amazing achievement. So today I'm going to show you how to stake your real estate asset tokens. After signing up, you can sign in.
So here Denis is on the main screen after signing in, main screen that you reach when you sign into the marketplace of Ocean Point. Here you regularly see the your details. You regularly see your main account page, and you can verify yourself. Go through a very simple KYC. Anyone can do it. If you've ever opened a bank account, not an online bank account, even if you've ever opened any social media account, you can do that in a very easy way. So you log in there, you just verify yourself. You can connect your wallet, and now we'll see how, and then we take it forward from there.
In the marketplace, you can browse through, you can click on marketplace and browse through the various assets. Their valuations are shown, as well as the projected APYs. If there's zero issued tokens, then it means that the tokens have not yet been minted to you, to your wallet as the owner. And it's
so on some of those assets, you will see 0 tokens. It means the asset tokens have not been minted. Within the coming few days, maximum of 1 to 2 weeks, hopefully, all of those assets will have the tokens minted. What does that mean? That means that the owners will be able immediately over there to utilize and stake their tokens. Until that point of time, the tokens cannot be staked. We'll continue. And now here, we've gone to the Ocean Point, not the marketplace, but the main website, because now we need to launch the app. And this is what Denis will show you in a second.
In the process of doing so. But once you have received tokens to your wallet, you can launch the Ocean Point app, and you can see here the governance pool value currently being staked, so BST.
And here, while Denis is talking about the governance tool value, he's connecting his wallet. So you connect your wallet there. You've noticed how he's done it. He will explain the rest, but it's important that you connect your wallet. You can connect MetaMask, you can connect Wallet Connect, and through MetaMask, you can connect any of the hardware wallets that you that are compatible.
You can connect your wallet, and you will see by connecting, we're going to show you how to do it with MetaMask. You're going to need to have some ETH though to transact and interact with the application. So you can acquire Ethereum anywhere. There's lots of places where you can purchase.
So here, what Denis is showing you is the governance pool and the asset pool, and he will explain it in a second. He mentioned that you need to have some ETH. You can buy ETH through any of the exchanges. It's pretty simple to buy this small amount of ETH because you need around 0.1 ETH per transaction, sometimes less. Okay, and then if you have multiple properties that you've tokenized, you will need more. What will this be used? It will be used as gas fees to process the transaction. You will see how in a second.
For that type of amount, you will need something like maybe 0.1 ETH. You can purchase it with a credit card quite easily. Now, you need to scroll down to the asset pool. In the asset pool, it's where you can interact with your tokenized asset. Please note that it's going to be 6 months lock period, and after the 6 month lock period, you'll be able to withdraw.
currently, Dennis went to the docs of Ocean Point, which you can access easily from the main website of Ocean Point. And if you are part of our Telegram or Discord, you will see those links that are posted so frequently. If you don't see them or you don't have them, just please ask, and we'll be able happily to provide them. If you're not on our Discord and Telegram, please feel free to join, and you can utilize the main website of Blocksquare to try and do that. The all assets tokens that are staked are locked for 6 months. And this is what Dennis is explaining in a second. The docs here explain, by the way, the process, explain the details, as well as it has the guide that we're showing you now. It has a guide of how to do so. Why is that guide important? Because some people do not like visuals so much. They like visuals that without my face and Dennis's voice to it, and they can go through asset pool, and it works as a reference. You can go there at any moment of time and see what is running there and how can it happen.
And here's also the link to the documentation, where everything is explained in detail, how things work, what are the pool mechanics, etc. Here in this, under the info part, you can see your tokenized property on your wallet. If you hide token, uncheck the hide token balances without balance, you will see all the properties that are eligible for staking. But you're interested in just the ones that where you have tokens of.
So here, under info, under the asset pool, I remember after you've launched the app on the Ocean Point website, you are able to see the tokens. You say hide tokens without balances, and you are able to see the ones that do have balances. You select one if you have multiple that you have tokenized, multiple properties, and then you can stake, and you will see the process in a second.
So you select that one. Here you will define the amount of tokens that you want to deposit. But before you can deposit, there's something you need to do, which is called allowance. You need to approve the smart contract to interact with your tokenized asset. I recommend checking the infinite allowance, which means that the whole balance on your wallet can be transacted.
So here, and this is an important step, your wallet does hold value of ETH. Our app will use that ETH value. You need to allow that transaction to happen. What Dennis is recommending is that you allow infinite, so that transaction allowed is not only for one transaction or for a certain amount. You've allowed infinite, and then we'll take forward the rest of the process in a second. Remember here, you're staking the tokenize or the tokens of your asset. Only 10% of each asset has been tokenized. So you'll see 10,000 tokens here, because as you know, we issue 100,000 tokens per asset if the total asset has been tokenized.
By default, as you know, we have tokenized 10% of your asset, which means you have 10,000 BSPT tokens on your wallet. And make sure to stake all of them. If there's maybe the wrong number on the UI, just make sure it shows 10,000. And you select this and then you click deep.
Because if you don't, you're only staking part of them and you're losing value. Remember, the rewards that you get, there's a rewards pool relevant to the assets locked value pool, and then you get a pro rata of that. So if you don't stake all your tokens, you're missing out on some rewards and some value.
Deposit. Once you click deposit, which needs to be done after the allowance transaction is confirmed,
and here allow me to rewind on this as I paused Dennis at the wrong time probably here, so that you have continuous thoughts rather than me cutting your thoughts with what I'm saying.
We have tokenized 10% of your asset, which means you have 10,000 BSPT tokens on your wallet. And make sure to stake all of them. If there's maybe the wrong number on the UI, just make sure it shows 10,000. And you select this and then you click deposit. Once you click deposit, which needs to be done after the allowance transaction is confirmed, you can also here edit the gas cost. It depends really on the timing of the day. And you can select advanced options, for instance, and click on low to make your transaction cost lower. It will take, however, longer period of time for the blockchain to mine your transaction.
I don't advise you here to select low. Dennis is showing you the whole options. I don't advise you to select low. I advise you to go with the recommended, because otherwise it will take more time. And sometimes, because that's dynamic, it takes a very long time. And you'll see what will happen now in a second. And also you'll see how can you speed it if you've selected low.
Now here I've clicked confirm, and we're now waiting for the transaction to be mined. To check the transaction, you can click on MetaMask, and under activity you will see the deposit transaction. You can click on this status view on Blockchain Explorer, and it will show you, the estimated time for mining that transaction.
Remember, every transaction that ever happens on the blockchain is recorded. Any Ethereum-based transaction is, you can see on Etherscan. So this is what happened. Dennis clicked on MetaMask on your transaction, and it took him to Etherscan to show him that specific transaction and the process. And you will see the process now in a second. I'm really sorry for those who are very tech savvy or tech savvy enough to feel that this is not good use of their time. You can skip those, or probably if you're that tech savvy, probably you wouldn't need this. You would contribute in a different way to, or you would have this session contribute in a different way to you. Thank you. But share it with others who may need it.
Now we won't be waiting for this transaction to be mined for 3 to 10 minutes, and we're, let's say, in a rush. So what can also be done is the transaction can be accelerated. Now waiting 3 minutes, it's not a big deal. Waiting 10 minutes as well. If you imagine bank transactions, they take longer than that to be cleared. But don't worry, even though it might show you in time, let's say, let's refresh and see what happens. I think it's going to show, oh, it increased the waiting time to above 1 hour, right? So right now I'm like, I want to complete this.
As you know, by the way, guys, the gas fees depend on how busy the network is. The busier, the more it will cost to process a transaction, the less you bid, because this is what you're doing. The more time it will take for you, and you'll sit in the queue for longer. Yeah?
Tutorial, so I want to show you how to speed up the transaction through MetaMask. That's also possible, yes. Basically what's being done, you're broadcasting a new transaction with a higher gas cost than the previous one, and using the same nonce number. Nonce in Ethereum is the transaction number that comes from your wallet. So as you can imagine, a new wallet has a nonce value of 0. And then when you transact for the first time, the nonce value goes up to 1, and so forth. Now,
it's similar, guys, to, every transaction is batched, similar to in the conventional world when you have either stock count or when you're talking about invoices, and every invoice has a number. And listen to this point, because it's very important. It's not useful for everyone, probably, because some people don't care about it. However, it's very important, and it's good to understand those simple details, because remember, this industry will grow, this technology will grow, and it's good to grow with it. And if you missed learning the basics when the basics were basics, or when the basics were the only thing that's there, with time it will be much more difficult for you to understand it, because you need to go back and understand the basics.
let's check the gas tracker. So this is also a feature that Etherscan has. You can check the current gas or the current status of gas.
Here you can check what is the going gas cost or rate currently. And that's important because you can take an average, or you can understand where would I want to be. Do I want to pay high 13 GUI here and move on, or what's exactly the situation with it?
And because we've broadcasted a transaction with a lower gas cost than 12 GUI, it means that we will probably be waiting for some time. So let's head over to MetaMask. Here, I click on MetaMask. And here I have this speed up button, and I can click on that speed up, and I just go with whatever MetaMask suggests to me, and I can click save. And what's going to happen in the back is a new transaction with the same information will be sent. So here, the deposit has now been confirmed on the blockchain. You can see this is a successful transaction. And this transaction has been dropped and replaced by this one. So as you can see, for my 10,000 BSPT, I received 95,000 SBSPT, which corresponds to $95,000 worth of real estate tokens. And
for those who don't know, who missed it, SBST is BSPT is staked real estate tokens. So that's what the S stands for.
I have one property staked. And as you can see, the screen then changes. So you do need to refresh the application for this to be shown after the transaction has been confirmed. If you still need to take a look at the process and this video is not enough, there's the staking tokenized real estate how-to guide under our docs with all the steps that we've covered so far, and you can take it on your own pace. So thank you for watching this. And if you need any questions, I'm sure our community can help out as well. So be sure to connect.
Guys, here we are. And thank you, Dennis, for explaining it in a very easy way. It's a simple process, yeah? When you explain it this way, you see how simple it is, and you see how easy it is to do. If any one of you has a hard time doing it, please feel free to connect to our community on Discord, on Telegram. Feel free even to leave us a message, and we'll get in touch with you. If you have a property to tokenize, now is the time. You'll capture it right. Remember, for the coming months, we are tokenizing property on our account. You're not paying for tokenization, we are. And we decided to do it up to a maximum of 100 million. And we're getting there pretty fast. So much faster than what we were expecting, because the initial expectations were by the end of the year, hopefully 50 million. We are very near to that now, and we just started, and the staking hasn't started yet. And once staking starts, much more interest will come through, and much more excitement will be there. Now, I will answer a few other questions. This is what you should have done, guys. The questions now that we'll answer hopefully shed light on two other matters. Thank you for everyone who's posting questions and who's sending questions through. It helps us because, again, we answer questions you want answers to rather than questions you don't want answers to. Let me go back to the two questions that are still there and that have been provided. So, will I be able to liquidate a portion of my property via token sale? Answer is yes. You're tokenizing your property. You're staking the tokens today. In 6 months, you have few options, because remember, if you stake today, you have a lock period of 6 months. Can you not stake today and liquefy on the market? Yes, you can do a token sale. However, in 6 months, you have an option of either keeping the property tokenized and staked. Obviously, the rewards for staking will be less at that time, yet you can continue to do so. And hopefully, by the way, the token value will be higher. So even if the returns by number of tokens is less, the value is the same or more. Two, in 6 months, you'll be able to keep the property tokenized, but stop staking and keep the tokens in your wallet. You own the property tokenized. Option number 3 is you can go through the option of having Ocean Point purchase a portion of your property. Now, Ocean Point will not purchase any portion you've set there. Let's say you want to sell 10% of your property to Ocean Point. What will happen is the DAO, the community, will decide on how much should we buy of your property. And definitely there's risk management metrics put forward by our team, and that side is headed by Daniel, and who's a new member of our team, somebody who's very experienced, understands exactly what he's doing, and hopefully we'll have him on spotlight in the near future. Our team is putting thorough processes to make sure that we de-risk decision making and the choices that we may take. The DAO at that time will decide how much will they purchase. Let's say they will purchase 2% or 3% or whatever. Now, the other option would be that you keep tokenized, you remove it off staking, and you go for a sale to the open market, not to Ocean Point, or a hybrid sale. You sell part to Ocean Point and the rest to the open market. All of those are options you have and you can perform. Obviously, if you don't stake today and lock it because you don't have that lock period, or if you lock it and stake, and after you've staked and unlocked the tokens. So hopefully I've answered that in an understandable and simple way. The last question is, what if I start staking but then sell my property before 6 months? So people will go forward with staking, and they will provide their property documents and for us to tokenize it, and their ownership documents, and then we tokenize the property, and then they're staking, and then they're accumulating rewards. Now, prior to that period finishing, our team will request from the property owner the documents to reconfirm that that gentleman owns the property by the end of the staking period. So at that point of time, on that date, the party, the individual who staked, the owner of the property, should be the real owner and should be the owner at that time. What happens if he turns out to be not the owner at that point of time because he's sold the property in the interim? What will happen is, obviously, he doesn't have the right to collect the tokens. What will happen is that the BST tokens that have been issued as rewards will be burnt, and this will automatically reduce the supply of BST and will increase scarcity. So if you have a property and you've staked today, make sure to hold on to it for the coming 6 months and then sell it so that you get the rewards. If you don't, unfortunately, you don't. And you're contributing to reduce the supply of BST, which is positive to some, but not to you, because you don't hold that BST today. That was our block chat for today. Thank you so much. I don't want to take longer. We want to keep it as precise as it is. I promise you with more rejuvenation in our block chats, because it's meant as a chat. Yes, we've done some spotlights, and yes, we've done some informative videos like this, but block chat is a chat, and it's the brief as a theory and as a concept is to get experts to have a chat. If I'm expert in real estate and somebody else is an expert in real estate, we will have a chat about real estate, and you can join that chat by sending questions that can be discussed rather than answered, because answered means that somebody has the definite truth, but somebody has a truth and we're discussing it. And let's see Where does that lead us? It's an open discussion. Hopefully it's a positive one. Thank you all for joining me on the Block Chat for today. Thank you for Denis for putting the time while on vacation to create this informative piece of episode. Have a good week ahead. Until next Thursday. Ciao.